Hello, friends. What's up? I hope your day is treating you kindly. Please hit the subscribe button if you're watching from YouTube. If you're checking this out on TikTok, hit follow to keep up with me. Stay connected. I am Jonathan Mathis, the sports judge. Welcome on in. Boy, we had some drama in Dallas over the weekend. This whole weekend was a shit show in Jerry's world. And so, with that, I say, here we go with all the drama, the childish games, and a fan base that has a tendency to operate on such toxic levels of insanity right now that they're trying to force themselves to believe everything will be okay. It is never okay when a star player wants out because he's not getting what he feels he's entitled to. Money, more money, a whole lot of money. Contract negotiation with Micah Parsons has gotten to the point where he has asked to be traded. All right, so this whole thing got even weirder on Saturday due to a bizarre analogy used by Jerry Jones. I've watched a lot of clips or seen a lot of press conferences. It was more like a media gathering, but almost the same thing to me. And I can tell you that's as weird as I've ever witnessed a press conference. The whole vibe was off. That whole thing was so confusing and weird that I had to go back to listen to it to try to get the point Jerry Jones was trying to make. I thought it was quite bizarre. It's actually a bit messy and chaotic on Jones's part. Everything he is pushing is opposite of what Parsons is saying. And just so I have a clear understanding, it sounds to me like Jerry Jones sees this as part of a negotiation. It's coming off the exact 100 of what he thinks is part of the process. This, in my opinion, is, and while I will never understand Jerry Jones' philosophy as the Cowboys GM, if Jerry truly valued his player, he would have paid him by now. That being said, though, it is a bad situation where he's got to be the tough negotiator, the deal maker. But a real negotiator wouldn't need to put on a clown show. Everyone knows it but him. His ego, which is always getting in the way of his thinking, makes him believe he's bigger than anything. And the end result is often delusion. The contract part of it, to me, is that Jerry feels like they have an agreement and he wants to stick to it. The way he has handled this whole thing, I think it is the wrong way to do business. For him, it's just part of the negotiation. He tells the fans, don't lose any sleep over this. This is objectively nonsense. This is what the Cowboys do. They intentionally drag their feet in the negotiation process. They wait too long to pay these guys. What are the Cowboys waiting for? He's Micah Parsons. He's one of the best, or has been one of the best players in all of football for the better part of 4 years. And the Cowboys have yet to pay him. If everything keeps trending to him being one of the best defensive players in the NFL, a Parsons deal should be the easiest contract extension of all time. And you want Parsons to be around for a long time. He's going to prove himself over and over again. He's a hell of a defensive player, linebacker when he's healthy. His level of play certainly suggests that he should be extended. Give him a contract. Set him up like Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. But more money. He's earned it. Pay him. I want to go back to what I said earlier in the year or last season about him not taking accountability after a loss or lacking maturity. That's one of my small gripes with him. On the contrary, his mature attitude towards this situation shows that he's starting to take a reasonable and thoughtful stance, which enriches his character. This is the dude. Like I said, when you put on that helmet with the star logo on it, it feels like every move you make, you're being either praised or criticized for it. In Parsons' case, he has been criticized for his podcast, not watching enough film, being bad against the run, disappearing in big games. There's an absolute conversation around his leadership and off the field stuff. That's all I was saying. It was never to badmouth him, diminish him, or dismiss what he's accomplished on the football field. My typical slander is of his lack of accountability, and I can acknowledge that he's a top 10 defensive player in the league right now. And yes, Micah has his issues, and I think Dallas got to get something done for him. Honestly, though, good for Micah Parsons. This organization, this ownership in particular, has done a bunch of shady stuff to players, coaches, staff, and in general. Good for him for being the first to stand up to Jerry Jones. So overall, I support what Parsons did. You can only disrespect someone and make them feel unwanted for so long. If I really thought that Parsons was the guy who warrants the criticism, you know me, I would 100% do it. I don't think Parsons is wrong for standing up for himself. I think Jerry is the guy you look at here and say he's why the Cowboys haven't won anything. For an owner to come out and make a nonsensical observation, what he's telling me, the message he's trying to send is that he believes the conversations that they had was an agreement which he claims they made in March on a proposed contract extension. He's operating in a world where he's trying to negotiate a contract without Parsons' agent, with Parsons only and not his agent. You look at the history of the Dallas Cowboys over the last couple of off seasons, they have had an owner who makes life harder than it ever needs to be. I know people like this in real life who make situations in life harder by getting in their own way. That's Jerry Jones. This is the problem you have when you deal with him. What I will also say is Jerry could care less if the Dallas Cowboys ever win a Super Bowl. For him, it's not about winning, because if Jerry really wanted to win, he wouldn't keep doing this over and over. A public spat between Jones and Parsons took new heights. So what I think of this ongoing feud is that it's just Jerry once again showing a lack of commitment to winning. And if Jerry really tried to corner Micah Parsons into negotiating his own contract and tried to pull a quick one and now is angry that it didn't go his way, that's one of the craziest stories of a wild offseason. If you believe anything that comes out of the man's mouth, he claims Parsons had a back injury, insisted that Parsons took the deal off the table, and alleged that Parsons' agent hasn't returned his calls. That looks bad on Jerry. To me, looking at this and how it has played out, Micah Parsons has been a true professional in handling his contract negotiations. And, after that last interview with Jerry, this seems to me like a mind game to make his player feel that he has to put the team first over what he deserves to be paid. If I'm Micah Parsons, I stand firm. If I'm him, I wouldn't be there. I think he's got to sit out the year, because that's really going to be the only way for Jerry and Steven to understand. Like, if anything, this is the dude you want to get a deal done. The best thing for him is sit out and put pressure on Jerry and Steven to finally come to the realization that he's deserving of a new contract. Last Friday, Micah had enough and announced on social media that he had submitted a trade request. Parsons, frustrated, posted a 3-page statement. This is straight up disrespect. I feel insulted if I'm Micah Parsons. I would feel very insulted. How could you not feel that way? This is a player who is outspoken and is obviously not scared to publicly call out the boss who has not treated his employees with a level of respect. I love it too because a player is finally voicing his displeasure, speaking up, and telling us his emotions. I implore Micah Parsons, who has taken an ethical approach in handling the ongoing contract dispute, to sit out as long as the Cowboys negotiations drag on. I just think Jerry is making it harder than what it is, than what it needs to be. For him, this is all about control. It's the biggest problem he's had. If you want to be in control and like having so much power, you're not winning a championship. This is why the Cowboys are what they are, because of the guy who owns them. For one of his best players to be this outspoken and brave enough to call out his boss, yes, the man who writes the checks, for him to have this big of a platform and be critical of Jerry Jones for the handling of his contract extension, that's a problem. It's very concerning. And the only way this gets fixed, obviously, is by money. It's going to take more than $40 million to fix this fractured relationship. When I hear Jerry's comments, the one thing that stands out to me is that he takes shots at Parsons. And by saying don't lose sleep over it, well, to me, you're telling everybody you're going to pay him $40 million. At the end of the day, judging by your comments, you're going to get it done. It's really disheartening and disrespectful. We're already in the second week of training camp, and the Cowboys and Parsons remain far apart. You have one of your all-pros frustrated with how contract negotiations with the Cowboys have devolved. The owner, who feels like he's being misconstrued, reacts to a trade request from Parsons. And just from the comments, you realize he's unmoved by Parsons asking to be traded, unbothered by the rhetoric. This whole contract dispute thing bothers me. It really does. It's just the way Jerry Jones comes off, the way he has handled it. Is it too much for me to genuinely ask if he's going to finally meet with Parsons, sit down, negotiate a new deal, and pay him what he's worth? Inquiring minds would like to know. Parsons remains without a new contract, and it doesn't look like it will get done anytime soon. It has been reported that the two sides are farther away from a deal than they were back in March. This is a big deal because Micah Parsons is worth a lot to the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. Maybe you let things settle down and he changes his mind about wanting to be traded to another team. I don't know. Hey, suddenly maybe there's a part of a stubborn Jerry Jones that says, you know what? I got to lock up one of my best players. I got to pay the man. This is really on Jerry Jones. The ball is in his court. Apparently right now, Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons do not see things the same way. When you look at this team, they are built around Micah Parsons in terms of defense. Apparently Jerry Jones is still the same stubborn old man who does it his way. And Parsons, this is not a guy who usually stays quiet. And Cowboys fans probably can't sleep knowing that this guy, not knowing that this guy is going to be a Cowboy in the future. I can tell you, Cowboy Nation has had enough of Jerry Jones. All right, everybody. That's all I have for you. Thank you guys for watching. We got more great stuff coming up very soon. But I really appreciate you guys for tuning in and rocking with your boy, the Sports Judge. Thank you guys. I'm checking out of here now. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll talk again soon. And before I get out of here, make sure you be kind enough to hit the subscribe button if you're watching this video on my YouTube channel. If you guys are watching this on TikTok, follow me and make sure you share the content. Thank you guys. See you soon.